Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Concordia University's Force Space. Thanks for joining us for today's event, Class in Session. This is part of Music Week Montreal, and it's a collaboration with ElectroCon as well as Purple Tea Records. And just to help situate you, we're streaming to YouTube live from Force Space. We are located here on unceded Indigenous lands in Tiohtià:ke, Montreal. Here at Force Space, we work with our university community to help mobilize knowledge. We co-create daily activities examining research questions, projects, things happening all across the university. We're also running today's event as a live stream Zoom meeting. So if you're joining us there, your comments and questions are great. They're important. Throw those into the chat. We'll try to read our best to read those out during the Q&A. And for those of you here in the space as well, there's a Q&A a little bit later on. We'll run our microphones around so that everyone can hear. Okay, that's my pleasure. With that, it's now my pleasure to pass things over to A&R Purple Tea Records, Kimmy ML. Kimmy, welcome in.
Good afternoon. Applause. Just out of curiosity, how many Concordia students are here? Nice. I'm a Concordia alum, so it's great to be back. First and foremost, thank you all for being here. Without you guys, this doesn't happen, so it means a lot to me and Justin, my partner in back. And we hope you enjoy it as much as we do. Starting with a legend here, and I can tell you he's a legend because he produces on Cubase. That doesn't exist anymore. You actually have to rip it off torrents, and so it's going to be very interesting. After that, we have the lovely Mango, one of our artists. It's going to be very interesting between the two of them. They have similar styles now-ish, I would say. You're coming closer to, well, not as fast as him, but Anna started with techno, or tech house, and now she's harder, and we like that. And that's pretty much it. I'll be here throughout the afternoon, and I'll be back for the demo drop and to introduce Anna.
All right, well, thank you for coming. Is the microphone on? All right, cool. So thank you for coming. My name is Guesses. Just to put you in context, I'm a producer, DJ, been doing this for 10 years. I've been producing for artists such as Regard, #1 songs with him, have collabs with Nicky Romero, Timmy Trumpet, 4B, and we got more coming, which I can't say. And today what I want to bring on is, yeah, I could show you how to write a good song, but what I want to show you is how to build leverage in the industry, especially as DJs. Nowadays, everyone's trying to be a DJ, everyone's trying to be a producer, right? How I start building leverage to start being in rooms with Nicky Romero, Timmy Trumpet is by doing remixes. It sounds stupid, and SoundCloud might sound stupid, but it's not. Even our good friend that's going to be here later, Dave, is currently killing it. His remixes are being played on fucking stages by John Summit and and that's how you build leverage in this industry. So first of all, I'm going to bring you to a session here I have in Cubase. Can I share the screen right now? Cool. And I'm sorry, I know Cubase is fucked up, right? All right, let me share the screen. So I'll show you how, in a matter of 2 hours, I personally make a remix, release it, and build leverage in the industry to have the big dogs play it, start building relationships with the labels and everything. So this is a remix I've done for, obviously, No Broke Boys, This Cool Lines. Everyone knows that song, right? Let me play it real quick for you, and it's pretty aggressive. I'm just gonna say, it's 160 BPM. If you guys are not ready, it's fast as fuck. So so let me play it real quick. All right, so what I want to show you, oh, sorry, we're gonna drop that. So what I want to show you today is how I just took a vocal and made this in less than 2 hours, mixed, mastered on SoundCloud. You shouldn't be spending more than a few hours on any songs you make or any songs you make, especially for SoundCloud, because it's pretty much always the same recipe when you find your sound as an artist. So first of all, what I do is I start with the vocal, as simple as that. So everyone knows that vocal. I'm just going to mute it, solo it actually. So everyone knows it, Song of the Summer, right?
No broke boys, no new friends. I'm not pushing, give me my test. Ain't no love, ain't no shade. Fuck on me, then you know keep paid. Look
So every song I've started my career. Do we have some kind of feedback going? Move my computer. I mean, the song's coming from it.
So when you're talking, you're going through your Zoom, right? So.
Oh, God. Okay. Oh God. All right. So can you guys hear me now? All right, cool. So usually what I do is vocal and then I put a kick right away. So that's what I'm going to show you guys.
Makes no sense. Badass bitch with my badass friends. No broke boys, no new friends.
Pretty simple, right? So what I usually do after, and this is where I see a lot of people just fuck up, it's the low end. I'll see a lot of people trying to be, how can you make your bass sound wide? Like, should I saturate it in a 200 hertz? Not really. A sub bass is a sub bass. It should just be a sine wave, and you should EQ at 100 hertz. It should just, you shouldn't hear a sub, you should feel it. So it's just sub frequencies. So in this case, I start to get the groove going, and in this kind of music, it's just like boom, boom. So that's what I've done here. Let me play you the bass alone. You hear it? And when you have that sub bass just going at 100 hertz, it should be in mono. Just kick bass. This is where you get your energy. You know when you're in the club, you just fucking feel it in your face? That's what happens here. So let me play you the kick bass. That feedback thing is weird. I'm just gonna say that. So this is cool in the club. It's gonna be in your face, you're gonna feel it, but when you listen to music on smaller speakers, especially iPhones, which everyone does here, we need this thing called a top bass. So the third thing I do is vocal, kick, sub, and then I do the top bass. The top bass is gonna sit usually from 100 hertz to, it could be 1K, 2K. And let me show you what the top bass does here. So what this does here is translate the rhythm, so the groove, on the smaller systems, the smaller speakers, especially, we all listen to music on the iPhones now. So I'll show you a trick how to get your wide fucking basses, and it's not in the sub. That's where most people fuck up. They're trying to widen the sub, and that's not good. You're just gonna get some phasey low end, and it's never gonna hit in the club. So what I do usually on the top bass, it's pretty simple. Let me open it up for you. So I have an EQ, because my sub is cut at 100, so my top bass starts at 100, so there's no overlapping frequencies in the low end. Sometimes what I'm gonna do, since these top basses could get a little muddy, I'm gonna dip a little bit around 300 hertz, just so the kick and everything, the low mids could just punch better. So where the trick is to get the wide bass is I pull out an ozone, I don't know, people have ozone here? Imagers? Okay. So I'll pull out an ozone imager, and around 300 hertz, I'm just gonna stereo it a bit and widen the bass a bit to taste. Make sure that it's not out of phase, because then it's gonna start sounding bad again. But this is the trick where your bass is gonna hit you in the face in mono with the sub, and your top bass is just gonna be like, if you're listening in headphones, it's gonna be like, wow, that sounds bigger than nature. So, let me play it. Oh. Let me play it again. So if you see here, the bass is not out of phase. So this means that in mono, you're not gonna lose it, because obviously most club sound systems are in mono. So if your sounds get too wide and too phasey, especially in the 300 hertz below, your mix is gonna sound like in the club. We all know that. So this is how you get your bass to be super hard, but wide at the same time. So 2 layers only. I've seen different styles of music, because this is hard, but let's say like Cream, for example. They're gonna have a 3rd layer, which is gonna be 500 up. It's just gonna be like a white noise that follows the bass pattern, just for you to get the extra grit, the extra magic on the bass. So now, in less than, what, we've been talking for 5 minutes, we got a groove going. So you could just build around that. Like as soon as there's a groove in a song, you just got to make different portions of it. So now I'm going to play you the part where the groove plays with the bass and the vocal. And you guys are probably going to be, yeah, like that shit pumping already, you know? Like I'll play it for you now. Oh, what's going on? This is crazy. Let me turn some stuff up. All right, cool. There's like a delay. So here? There's like a bad delay. I don't know what's going on with Zoom. So now that we have basically our foundation, I call that the core foundation of the song, what could you do? You could add a lead. You could add drums, extra drums. So what I usually like to do is I add a lead. So the first thing I've done here, and I know this lead sounds crazy, I'll show you what the lead is. And I'm not the best sound designer myself. As a producer, you got to recognize what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, and just synthesis is just not the thing I'm the best at. So I'm a big fan of Nexus, if you guys know Nexus. So it's a preset from Nexus. It just sounds good, you know? So let me open it up. It's currently loading. So let me play it alone. Why do we have a feedback like that? That's so annoying. Let me try to fix it in Zoom.
Stop sharing and restart your share without sound.
Without?
You're supposed to be going through the PA, right?
It's going through the PA, but I'm not sharing sound at all. And my audio is muted as well. Everything's muted. So I don't know what's going on.
Did you not change the setting here to go through your Zoom?
No, because now it's coming out from there. We didn't want them.
And on the app, you also changed it?
Yeah. Oh, could it be that?
No, it's off. I muted it.
Okay. Yeah. All right, so we're going to keep going. Sorry about that. So it's just very annoying. It's just impossible to talk about the song. Could it be from that? Because it comes from this, so.
We've got enough people in this room. We can figure this out. We got.
But maybe it's because this is coming out.
Is it feedbacking? Oh, really?
Not like,
No, I don't think so. Is it? All right, fuck it. We're still going. So now that I have a lead, what it creates is just, yeah, we have the groove, which is the main idea of the song, but let me close that. Let me close Zoom a bit. Okay. It just creates that moment where it drops, you know, like especially in EDM or dance music, like it's a rare thing you're gonna see just like kick bass vocal immediately. Maybe in songs that are a little more on the pop side, but usually it's something in your face. So this is what we've done here. I'm gonna play the whole thing when it drops. So now that we have that drop moment, the next thing I usually do is add the top drums. So snares, hi-hats, rides, tops, percussion. And in this case, I only have two. It's pretty simple. And I'm going to show you how to make them pop in your mix. Because a problem I had when I was starting to produce is the drums were either too loud, too quiet. They wouldn't translate well on smaller speakers. And the only answer to that is saturation. It's pretty simple. So let me play the drums without the saturation now. So they're not bad, but it's just in the context of a mix, they might get buried, you kind of want to glue them together with the hotness of a saturator, and they're just going to be like, when you listen, especially in the AirPods, they're just going to tickle your ears the right fucking way. you're gonna be like, damn, like the drums are driving. So what I usually do is, you guys have Saturn on your computers? I just pull out a Saturn, and there is a preset I always use for this. It's the basic saturator. So you go in V1 preset, saturation, basic saturator. And then I play with the dry wet, and I mix it to taste. So let me show you before. After. So they just get a little more present in the mix. And these little details will just take you, so this is like the high end of your song. So if you want that crispy, just little saturators on the tops and the hi-hats, it's gonna take you a long way. So we're gonna move now to the, so basically this is a pretty simple project. As you see, there's not a lot of tracks on it, but it sounds very full because every sound is extremely rich and extremely detailed in the song. One error I used to do when I started out was I'd fill projects with bullshit. Like, I would have 17 layers of atmospheres. Who does that here? Like, it's cool, but then again, it's just creating a cluster of frequencies that are, you can't really mix them. Like, yeah, you could EQ this and that, but you don't need 17. You need 1, 2. And that's the hardest part as a producer, to understand when it's time to be, all right, this is enough. Because oftentimes we tend to overproduce things. So in this case, when it comes to atmospheres on this song, there's really like 2 of them, and I'm gonna play them for you. And there's this one on top, which creates, you know, like, yeah, this is hard techno, hard size, so it creates that atmospheric, industrial, you know, it brings you in the vibe a bit, but you don't need 17 of them. So here's the second one. And obviously we're getting like feedback from hell, but so I'll just show you how I EQ and process my stuff. So it's pretty simple. EQ around 200, 300, because anything below that is just gonna fuck with the bass and the kick. You don't really need that information. Sometimes I'll even high cut some atmospheres because I want all the energy to be in the top drums, especially the hi-hats, the loops, and all of that. And pretty much I have some sidechain in the drops because I want them to duck so the kick can breathe better, so on and so forth. It's pretty simple. So I'm gonna let me play you the break, all the atmospheres break together. So you don't need, look, there's three tracks total of atmospheres. The biggest error I used to do back in the day, I'd have 6 risers, 3 atmospheres, 3 that, 43 hi-hats. Yes, layering is good, but you need to understand how you do it and the reason why you're doing it. So it is just easier to seek for better sounds and have less of them in a song. The biggest thing too is to make sure every sound you put in a song is in phase. If you guys don't understand what phase is about stereo image. So if a sound is in the middle, mono, obviously it's not gonna have any stereo image, but what happens oftentimes with mono, stereo, very wide sounds, you kind of lose the energy because they're out of phase. And you could verify the phase of a sound. I'll show you how to do it. It's super, super simple. We're gonna go on a lead here. And this plugin, it's called Voxengo Correlometer. And I use this to check the phase on every single sound in every song. This way, this will help you to see if the sounds need to be fixed or if the sound is good enough to be in a song. So let me show you, let's say, this sound here. So see, here it's in phase, but it's very wide, or else it would be all the way up. If it goes below here, anywhere, if the sound goes below that line that we have here, that means it's out of phase. So if the sound is out of phase, this means in the stereo mix, it's gonna lose itself. So sometimes I try to do your own mix masters and you tweak shit for hours. The synth is always too loud or too quiet. Does that happen sometimes? Check the phase, check the phase. The phase is out of, it's just as simple as that. And let's say you have a sound that is out of phase, it's pretty easy to fix it. I'll show you how. You put a Pro Q4, and I don't know if you guys know, but on the Pro Q, you could do a side-only EQ, and you could remove areas where it would be out of phase. So what we could do is analyze our sound, and you'll see as I cut stuff, the sound is going to get more mono. Look. Is it going to play? See? It goes out of phase because I'm putting more mono. Every sound in a song, you want to make sure that it's in phase. You could widen it all you want. Look, I could put more sides here, and you see it's going to drop. But as long as it doesn't go under that line. And especially in the areas under 200 hertz, everything under 200 hertz needs to be mono, period. I don't want to hear it. People have this debate for years. It needs to be mono. That's just the way I work. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's the best way I was able to start doing my own mixes and masters for these remixes, you know, because any official song, I always tell people, go the extra mile, hire an engineer, because music lives forever. It outlives you. And a few $100 is good to invest. It's just my opinion. So now we're going to move to the, I could show you how I did the respace on it, because I see a lot of people, they have, in their breaks, they have problems with the respace. They're either too loud, So I'll show you a trick how to make it a little better. So I'll show you the res in the break here. Let me solo it. So it's simple. It's holding the tonal root note. A lot of problems with these respaces that we have, yeah, they sound fat in the mix. We love them. But again, it's phase issues. People just don't realize that reses are extremely wide, and they forget to cut the sides on res bases, and it's a simple fix. In order to have the res cut in your face but be wide in the mix, it's, again, the same strategy. So you just go open a Pro 4, and you remove the sides under 200 on that res. So that bass frequency is going to be super mono in your face. That's where you get your power. But then the second oscillator is going to be wide, and that's how you get that wide, nice bass. So that's a cool trick I learned. I don't remember who taught me that, but now you guys know. And I just put a little bit of OTT on it because there's movement in it, and I just like to tame that movement, just have it a little more a little bit of OTT, maybe 20%, and that's it. So now I'm just going to play the song again, and I'm going to show you how I was able to take this pre-master into a fully mastered song in less than 5 minutes. There's no special recipe, but it's just, we tend to overthink master buses, and I used to put a lot of shit on it, and I would ruin the song, because we're just trying to make it better. But it shouldn't be more than a little glue compression, clipping, and limiting. Maybe some EQ here and there, to tame the low mids, to tame here resonant frequencies in the 7K range, but it shouldn't be more than that. It just needs to be flat and sounds good on every system we listen to. So let me play the song again, especially the second drop, because the kick is crazy. All right, so this is the pre-master right now. So I'll show you what I have on my master chain, and it's pretty simple. So I have a FabFilter multi-band glue compressor setting. So what we're doing is pretty much 1 dB, nothing more, because you're going to start ruining your low end, especially on these very heavy styles. So I'm going to show you what it does. It barely does a dB, but maybe a dB and a half. So this just glues everything together and makes it sound as a whole. And it also gives you a little more headroom for that limiter at the end. But then I'm going to show you the real sauce. Clipping. Do you guys soft clip here? Does anyone soft clips their master? So this is the best way to have a master loud without driving it in a limiter where it just sounds like shit. There's no other way to say it. So I just removed the oversampling because now I'm just showing you guys over Zoom and it takes a lot of CPU. But usually for this, I would put the oversampling at around 16 because it resamples the sound that you clip 16 times, so it just sounds better. But now for the sake of showing you how you do it, I'll keep it at 1 because my computer is going a little crazy. So usually on masters, after the compression, I just put the soft clipper and I put the meter at 3 dB. I try not to clip more than 3 dBs on masters because then again, you're going to start getting some of that distortion. Sometimes it's good for aesthetics and sometimes I don't like it so much. So in this case, I'm going to show you, we're going to put back the drop. So basically, by clipping here, think of a clipper as a pair of scissors. So let's say you have this big cutout thing, which is your song. It's got peaks here and there, which are going to be higher. And all of these peaks are going to be caught by a limiter. So you're not going to be able to drive your limiter to its max potential without it starting to fuck up the low end or the lower, just everything's going to sound muffled. You're going to lose that crispness from the tops. So when you clip, it's just like a haircut. You clip the peaks, but it doesn't change the sound when you do it under 3 dB or whatever, something in that realm. So by doing that, now my pre-master was peaking at -1 dB. Just by clipping, the pre-master is now at -6. So we just gained 5 dB of headroom by doing this, which didn't change anything in the sound. And now that's going to allow us to go into our limiter and drive that shit up without ruining, the low end of it. So let me play it again. I'll show you the before and after clip, and no one's going to notice an audible difference. No one. So that's without. The sound didn't change at all, but we gained 5 dB of headroom. So what we could do with this is when we drive our limiter, our master is going to peak at -5, -4. The limiter will barely do a dB reduction, and that's how you get these Skrillex, Joyride loud masters. It's just clipping. And you could take this to an even deeper level. You could every instrument you have in a song, you could bust them in a group. So drums, synths, bass, and you clip the peaks of each bus. And that's how you get that dubstep -1 LUFS masters. Like that's how you get that really, and your limiter is barely gonna do any fucking work. So that's a gate-kept thing in the industry. It's been gate-kept for years. The masters are so easy, just clip your shit, all right? So, and then I end the master with an ozone, because listen, I understand mastering is an art. It's an absolute art. There's people that study mastering for 20 years, and I'm by no means a mastering engineer, but I want to show you how you guys could save $500 every time you want to do a remix, and that's what I'm doing right now, because I understand no one has $500 for remixes here and there. So once everything's clipped, I slapped an ozone on it, and what's cool with Ozone 11, you have this AI feature where you could just analyze your song, and it's going to do the tweaks for you. It's going to analyze everything in your song, and then you could put a reference in. So I have, in fact, put a reference in for this one, and it gave me, look, I was pretty close to it. The EQ was already pretty close to it. Some impact, imager changements, and you could always, what's cool with Ozone is they're going to give you this, all right, this is how we think it should sound based upon your reference and your track. But you could always tweak it. So let's say like my stereo image was a little too mono on it because I'm scared of phase issue, I really am. So you could just play with the dry wet in order to, just to taste what sounds better. And don't be afraid to tweak it. Like they give you this blueprint, this is how it should sound, but then tweak it to your taste. That's what's cool about Ozone, and that's what I like about it. And I'm gonna show you the drop. That limiter barely works at dB. And I'm going to show you the loudness of the song after. Oh, here we go. Yeah, Zoom and DAWs is not the best thing. It just fucks up the whole thing. Yeah, the Zoom is just bugging out my computer right now. All right. Yeah, the CPU is going crazy. Well, thank you for coming. Yeah, that Zoom call is definitely taking a lot of my CPU power right now. I apologize for that. But this is the last part of it anyways. So just to show you that final maximizer limiter is barely doing a dB of like limiting, which catches the last final. So an error I used to do back in the day is I try to crank the limiter so loud, you know, and 6 dBs, and that was, the sound just sounds like, the song sounds like a cluster, because it just, basically a limiter is a compressor. So clip everything and barely have a dB or two of limiter at the end, and you're gonna see your mixes go from -6 to like a fat -4 without losing that top end clarity and that low end power. And let's analyze the loudness of the song now if my computer is gonna stop playing. All right. So we're almost at -3 peaking, which is very loud. And then again, we didn't compromise anything on the low end, the crispiness of the high end, and anything in the mix. So basically, by doing this, I now have a SoundCloud ready remix. It's that simple. And I know, listen, I've been doing this for years. It's not that simple, but it's just, if you, it's just, you don't have to hire people. You don't have to do this, to do that. It's just understanding where personally, I did errors, and I told you guys, okay, so the phase issues were my errors. The sound selection, that was not good, big error I did. And it was all these little things, the master chains I would try to do, multi-band this and that, and saturation. If you have to do that, the problem might be in the sound selection and the mix itself. It should just be making sure everything's in your face and ready to be released on SoundCloud. Because the thing is, when I started producing, I wanted to have collabs with Nicky Romero. I wanted to have all of this, but no one will take you seriously unless they know who you are. And it's a sad fact, but by doing these monthly, weekly remixes, oh, John Simmons is gonna play your shit. Oh, Hardwell just played your shit. And then next thing you know, you send him a demo, and what happens? Oh, I remember him, I've been playing his stuff. So this is how, in the industry, you build leverage as a starting producer, because it's an oversaturated market right now. So the way you really stand out is by doing these remixes. And that's how I got started. And now I'm making songs for these fucking guys. So it's just put your name out there. Don't be scared. You don't have to pay engineers and spend thousands of dollars or hundreds of hours on a remix. Just follow, get a good groove, nice drums, and you should be able to start making a name for yourself quite easily, especially on SoundCloud. So if you guys have any questions, I'm ready to answer them. I hope this gave you a little insight on how to pump out remixes faster, build a little more leverage to start, you know, working with some of your heroes. So that's it.
Do we want to do a little Q&A?
Sure.
Sound like a good idea? Also, if anyone's joining us on Zoom, they can pop some questions into the chat. We can read those out. Anybody in here in the space, just raise your hand. I'll run a microphone over. Oh, we got one right here.
Thanks so much for your talk. For remixing, when you're pumping them out, are you using like a template? Like, do you have a favorite kick picked out? Do you have your favorite instruments picked out?
That's a good question. I do. I have a full, especially kicks. It's so hard to come by good kicks. So for each style that I do produce for myself or clients, I have like a go-to that I would say I change about quarterly, because I want to stay up to date with the trends and everything. So it's very good to have these days where as a producer, you just sound select and sound pick stuff and build yourself a library of sounds that you know that, oh, that's gonna be my go-to for this kind of song. And that maximizes your workflow time, like by miles. Because you could just be spiraling on a kick for 3 hours and it still happens to me, bro. Like, so having these go-to sounds and templates, yes. For mixing templates, it's different because every song is different. But there are some guidelines. So when I usually do a song, when I put a kick in it, which is usually the first thing after the vocal, my kick is gonna peak at minus 10 dB. And then I build around that. Usually for house styles, the sub is gonna be 6 dB quieter than the kick. For these kind of styles, usually it's pretty on par, like 1 dB. But yeah, sound selection, you need to do that. Have your go-tos, go-to presets, and even further than that, like some songs that I've produced that I love, I import the stems sometimes in a new song. Who's gonna recognize a different riser? No one. Because at a point, you just need to get the music out. There's no point of just over spiraling over a riser. If the riser works, if the build snare works, drag and drop it in the new song, release that shit. So that's it. It's that simple. Any more questions?
First of all, thanks.
Of course.
So when you start a remix or a song, on which part do you start usually? I know it could be different for everyone. Like, do you start with the drop, the melody, the vocals? So this is a part that some will start with the drop, usually the drop.
Yeah.
Some will start with the vocal. And second question would be, what will be your limit when you do a song? Because you can put so many hours. So some put like 80 hours a song, and you just told us that you could take like an hour to make a song.
Those are very good questions. I'm going to answer the second one first. Usually when it comes to writing, because I do write a lot, that's what I do more than just producing remixes. I write for a lot of people in this industry, and I've always said a good song is just going to produce itself and write itself. If you have to spend 3 sessions on writing a song, it's not good. I'm sorry, it's just not good enough, because good music just happens. And the best example of that is, you know when you're on, like you having a bonfire with friends and there's a guy with a guitar and he fucking plays Wonderwall and it's annoying. It still sounds good. Why? Because it's a good song. You don't need a million elements to make a song. Just the chords and the vocals, if it's good, that's your KPI that you're dealing with a good song. Your first question was how I started the remixes, right? So it's always a vocal. It's simple as that. If I see a song that, oh, that's a good vocal, I want to work on it, I'm inspired by the vocal, that's how I start. And then I do usually the drop. So kick, bass, groove, vocal, and then I start building around it, do the structure. Even when it comes to, I don't know if you guys start doing originals of your own and stuff like that. I used back in the day to do instrumentals and send it to vocalists and do this and that. That's the longest waste of time ever. Because they're not going to send you your vocal back. They're going to ask you to pay them $1,000. The vocal's going to be bad. You're going to feel like shit. The best way now to make a song is harass everyone you know in this industry for vocals. And we call them top lines. And just go to people and be like, hey, I love what you're doing. Send me your manager. Go to publishers. They'd be like, I want vocals. Just send me vocals. Because once you have a vocal sent to you that you like, it's as simple as producing a remix. Because you have the fucking vocal. So technically speaking, you don't have to chase people for 3 months for a project. You could bang out an original in an afternoon. So that's how my workflow has improved over the time, by stopping chasing writers to write for me and just getting the stuff they have to give it to me so I could write myself on it. So if that helps. Any more questions?
We've got time for one more if there's another question. Right here.
All right. Well, thank you for having me. I hope the Master Chain Insight was fun. And I'm going to leave you to Mango now.
Is this on?
Done.
Before you leave,
Oh.
Desert Island, 3 plugins, go.
Ooh, 3 plugins. Okay, so obviously Pro Q4, Standard Clip, and Nexus, because I suck at sound design.
Nexus
Thank
is
you.
a good one. That's a good one.
Can I put it there?
just want to do a little test to see if we can avoid that.
The feedback, yeah.
We have a plan.
Okay, let's do. Am I showing my screen? Like that, right?
Yeah.
I just want to make sure. Oh, because maybe just open it, you know? Share some more.
We could do a version. Just
Maybe because of the CPU. It's on this side here.
It's okay. It's very short. We're gonna just forget about the Zoom. We'll just have us peeking over your shoulder.
Oh, it's working, right?
The audio and you share your screen.
Let's see. Yeah, okay, works. Hello, hello. Yeah. Hello, hello. Hello. No, I think it's good.
I think it's good. If anything happens.
Okay, perfect.
Yanni? Oh, there we go. So we have Ableton like a normal person now, so that's great. Cubase. So now we have the lovely Anna. She's one of our artists. I've had the pleasure of working on her on, what, 3 tracks? This is not one of them, though. And why is that?
This is a remix.
And what happened to the other one?
It's
It's gone.
signed.
No, the project file.
Oh, yeah, it's gone.
I had to throw her under the bus. I just have to. But Anna's been on the up and up, and she's going to show us how she works with her projects. I know that Anna's style has changed since I started working with her, so I'll let her dive in and enjoy, Anna.
So, hi everyone. My artist name is Mango, and it's spelled with a V because I wanted to make it harder for people to spell my name. Not really, but it's just there was a lot of mangoes, so I just decided to turn the A into a V. I'm basically an artist, a DJ. I produce, like Camille said, across a lot of genres. I usually follow my mood, and that's the most important thing ever, I feel like, when you're producing, is you like what you do. So that's what I usually do. I produce tech house, techno, UK garage, across BPMs. I just produce what I like. So that's pretty much it. And today I'm gonna show you guys my edit of the song called I Don't Sell Molly No More by I Love McConan. And it's a 2014 hip hop song that we wanted to revamp. So this is a collab with me and my good producer friend, Seb Todd. And it's coming out on Friday. So if you guys wanna see it, it's gonna be on SoundCloud. So like Guesses mentioned earlier, really important to have a lot of remixes. Today I'm not showing you an original because again, it's really important to have remixes and your songs to be supported by big artists in order to have, opportunities and what so not. So that's pretty much why I chose this song. Also, this song is in the style of Odd Mob. So I feel like right now it's a really trending, maybe style subject, so it could be interesting. So really simple, I use Ableton 12. I started on Ableton, I've been working on Ableton forever. It's just what I like, but there's not one specific DAW you could use. Everything works. They all essentially do the same thing. Whatever works best for you is usually what you should choose. So this is what it looks like. I like my color codes, as you can see. So this is the main project. So first of all, usually my projects, I start, especially for remixes, I start with the vocals because the vocal is the remix itself. And then sometimes I'm gonna be in a mood of doing something UK garage, sometimes I'm gonna be in the mood of doing something tech house. So this time we were more in the mood for something harder, more like I said, on mob style. So that's the vibe we were trying to go. We had a reference track, which is Hunter's remix of Stephanie. So that was the whole vibe that we wanted to go for. And as you can see, so first things first, there's two sections in the project. So on the left, I have the extended version and the radio edit. Honestly, you don't have to do a radio edit for a remix, especially if you're gonna post it on SoundCloud. We just did it because you never know, honestly. It's good to have sometimes, but essentially the reason why, and I do this for my originals all the time, why I have the radio edit in the same project as the extended is if, I don't know, I hear that there's something wrong or I want to process something differently, as soon as you add something to one channel, it applies to the whole length of the project. So if you make any last minute changes, if you hear something, it's good to have everything in the same project. So that's pretty much the only reason why I have it here. But that's what I usually do when I have, originals. So first things first, we have 7 different groups. I like organizing all my stuff. So first of all, on the top, we have the kick, the bass. I have 2 layers. Again, like Guesses explained, it's good to have a top and a sub layer, especially if you're gonna listen on a phone or something, you're not really gonna hear the sub. Sub is more for the club feeling, the punchy feeling in the heart, in the chest. So that's pretty much it. I'm gonna show you guys first the kick that I have. And again, I work with one sample pack. I usually have a lot of sample packs, and sometimes I spend hours into choosing the best kicks. So when you have a remix, for example, you just slap in your favorite kick or something that works. It's gonna be on the side here, so you could color, categorize, coordinate your things. So I have vocals, shots, usually glitches, mainly for tech house. Usually you need little glitches and vocal stuff. Then I have melodies and effects, drums, basses. Usually my kicks are gonna be in the drums or in favorites. Sometimes I just forget I have a drum channel and I'm okay. So I'm gonna have kicks in the favorites and in the drums. This is one of our favorite kicks that we used. So I'm just gonna play it for you guys. Hold on, I'm just gonna move this. Sorry, you guys can't see, but I had a little zoom pop up there. So this is pretty much what the kick sounds like. Pretty simple. Again, this is an odd mob tech housey track, so we don't really need something really grand. It's just a short, dry kick with a bit of a click, as you could hear. And then, like usually, like the processing is pretty simple. We use EQ8. EQ8 is a stock plugin from Ableton. It's one of the best EQs ever. If you want to go more into depth, we're going to use FabFilter Pro Q3 because this helps usually shape more the sound. You know, you could side EQ, you could dynamic EQ too. So usually it's going to move. I'm going to show you in a bit what that does. But that's pretty much it. And then the auto filter that I have here is mainly to do transitions. So for example, in the breaks, we don't want to hear the kick. Sometimes you want to cut the lows of the kick to make a better transition throughout the track. So that's what I use it for. And I have the same auto filter on and off, just on and off throughout the track. And it's the same thing on the bass. So it's literally the same thing, as you could see. Sometimes it cuts it, and this what it does. I'm just gonna solo the kick, like, let's say here. You see it cuts the lows. So that's what I do throughout the track, basically. The top bass for this is just a shot, because usually that's what sounded good. You don't need like a complicated, intricate pattern. Especially for this type of song, you know, and we've analyzed like the reference track, and this is what sounded good. Sorry, and we used Serum as the bass for the sound. Oh, sorry, I have to download an update apparently, which I didn't do. But anyways, the bass, essentially the top layer is the preset that we used. And then I'm not gonna get into sound design, honestly, because that's like a whole hour. But we tweaked some of the stuff. We wanted it to sound a bit more short. So usually you play with the decay. The decay is the time that the bass it lasts until, if that makes sense. And that's pretty much it. We pretty much left it as is. Again, we're not the best sound designers because that's like a whole other thing to master. But this is basically it. And I'm just gonna play you the top bass and the kick. So the top bass basically is very wide. We just used an EQ. We put it in mono, and this is a great plugin. It's a stock plugin from Ableton. It's called Utility. And we usually check the bass mono here, and it's gonna make the bass mono under here. We tweaked it, and we played it with it, and it sounded good at 87.3 hertz. But it's different from for every song. You know, you have to like listen to the bass and what's or not. But this is what it sounds like all together, like just the top layer. So you could hear it's pretty wide because we added a wider on it, on the top bass. Now, I learned an hour ago that there might be phasing issues, so we might revisit that after. But for now, like this is what we used to widen the bass. Before that, I have a multi-band dynamics. Again, it's a stock plugin from Ableton. I love using the stock plugins from Ableton because they're really great. They do the job. As soon as you understand what they're used for, it's pretty simple. You just have to tweak them. And most of the time, you have lots of like presets in Ableton, or you could just do a quick YouTube search and you're gonna find like essentially what it does and how it helps. This one is a preset, so to be honest with you, I don't really know what was tweaked, but we left it as is and it sounds really good. Without it, it sounds a bit dead, the bass. So I could show you an example of before and after. So this would be without it, and then with it. So that's pretty much it. And then we have a kickstart because we always want to leave space for the kick. This is by Nicky Romero. So this is a great plugin to have. This is one of the first plugins that I ever bought because you always need to make the bass duck when the kick hits. So that's pretty much it for that. The sub layer, we used an audio sample. So now it's different. This is not a MIDI channel. So we just cut it up and made it follow the bass pattern. Essentially, we have one little shot on the kick that you can't really hear, but it makes it punchier. And then we have the shot there after the kick. So it's kick shot. This is called a shot bass. So essentially, the sub is just gonna be under it, like this, sorry. And I'm just gonna show you what the subs sound like, but it's just basically a sub frequency. We used an audio sample for this because it sounded good, honestly, with the top layers. Sometimes we're gonna use a MIDI preset. Sometimes we're gonna use audio, but usually audio has more power, I found. So if you find like a good audio sample, like it's always good, you know, to just slap it on. And this is what it sounds like, the sub. It's very low, but you could still hear it. And this is like altogether the low end. So that's pretty much it. Then I have the drums. So I layer drums, okay? Don't laugh, but we layer drums usually. Like, this is not so bad, but we still layer them. We have, I think, like 20 drums. But honestly, like, especially for like a remix, we didn't have to do all of this. But when I work with Seb, especially, we're two perfectionists. He's in the audience right now. So we're two perfectionists, so we like going in depth, even though it's just a remix that's gonna go on SoundCloud or something, you know. So this is what the drums look like. Our reference track was, like I said earlier, Hunter's remix of Stephanie. So usually the drums are very simple. It's just a hat that plays even on the kick, so every 4 bars, and a clap. It has to be snary, slappy, dry, slap your face type shit. So that's what it is. And then we have fills to add a bit of texture and difference. Not a lot of times, as you could see, like maybe once, actually just once in the track, we have it here. This is just a fill to add in the transitions of the track. But I'm gonna show you right now what the drums sound like, and you're gonna understand, like, we didn't have to have 20 drums for this, but again, we did it, so it is what it is. This is what it sounds like. So it's basically hat, there's a ride in there, and a clap. And we added a top loop here. As you could see, it's in the middle, it's coming in the middle of the break. And that's really important to create like a difference, because you don't want your drum groove to be static. You want it to be like a bit more energy, like let's say in a half of the drum, of the drop, sorry. So this is why we added it just in the half to add a bit of more energy. So this is what it's gonna sound like with the fills on top here. You can't really hear it, but it adds a certain groove to the whole track. So that's pretty much it for the drums. The processing is pretty simple. For each individual drums, usually we either add a EQ8, we cut if it's a bit muddy. So for example, for the claps, we're gonna cut some of the lows. Like you could see, it's just a simple EQ. And usually what we do is we look at it. I'm a visual person. So as for example, like this clap, let's say I'm just gonna solo this. As you could see, like the waveform stops there. So usually I'm just gonna cut like visually there and then listen to it on headphones and see, okay, do I lose power? Like, am I cutting too much? And then I'm gonna adjust, you know? Like you just adjust the frequency as such. That's pretty much it. As for the main processing, now I have another EQ plugin that we use sometimes. This is the VEQ4, and it's basically a plugin that emulates hardware. So this is actually like a hardware. It's a physical plugin that you could purchase. But they wanted to turn it into, you know, like in this day and age where all on our computers, we don't have maybe room or space to have like a physical hardware. So they just put it into Ableton. But this is a great one because it gives warm EQ, if that makes sense. Because it emulates a physical hardware, usually the EQ, like whenever you cut stuff or whenever the song is gonna go and through this plugin, whatever is gonna come out, the output is usually gonna be a bit more warmer in sound. It's not gonna be as harsh as, let's say, an EQ8, which is not as detailed as a Pro Q3, which I showed you guys earlier. So here, for example, just for the drums, it's pretty simple how it works. Basically, you choose the value and what type of EQ. It's preset EQs. So you have a low pass EQ, so that's gonna cut the lows. Then you have a shell to boost the low mids. Then the high mids, you could add an EQ to boost them or to lower them to your liking, and the high frequencies. In this case, we just use the high frequencies. As you can see, everything is set to off here. But here we set it to 6.8 kilohertz because we wanted to boost the high frequencies just a tiny bit, 1.6 dBs at that region. Again, the drums, we want them to be crisp, sharp. It has to sound like one sample. Especially for this track, it's just a hat and a clap. We want them to be as defined as possible. So that's why we're boosting the highs here, to make them more hearable, to hear the peaks more better, I mean. So that's pretty much it. Then we have a little compression here. This is the best plugin that we have. We all use them. All of my friends are producers and we all use this, especially on drums and with these specific settings. So usually what we do is we start by setting up the attack at 0.30, release at 0.3, the ratio at 2. And after that, we play with the threshold. We play with the threshold until we see a movement on the needle here. So I'm just gonna solo this. I'm gonna show you guys. I'm gonna just put it to 0, just so you guys could see like the movement actually happening. So these are the basic settings, and then you could see a bit of movement, but then we're gonna like bring it up to add more compression. We put it at 1.6, that's what sounded good on headphones. And then we're gonna look at what it's cutting here on the needles, and we're gonna make it up with the makeup here. So you see, we're cutting 1.6, we're gonna make up in volume by 1.6. Essentially, that's what it is. We always use these settings because that's what works best, and it actually makes a difference. I don't know if it's gonna sound like it's gonna make a difference, but we could try. I'm gonna play you without it, and then with it. There's more life, as you could hear. I don't know, it's very like particular. Maybe like it might be hard to hear, but it brings more life to the drums. It makes them more lifey, I guess. That's pretty much it. And then we have a saturation. We love adding saturation just a little bit. We use mainly Isotope Trash, and mainly we use the tape saturation software preset, sorry. And then the drive, we put it down a bit. And the mix, just a little bit, 18.7. We don't want a lot of saturation. This just is the last sparkle on the drums to bring them all together to sound them cohesive. So that's pretty much it. Here again, we have an auto filter that is automated. Why I know it's automated is because of the little red dot here and the red dot there. So that's basically to give transitions and bring the drums in better and out better, especially in the breaks. So as you could see here, we're bringing it down and then we're bringing it back up. So this is what it sounds like. You could see it's going down, and then can barely hear it. And it gives better transitions to the whole track, because at the end of the day, a track is, you have to tell a story. You can't just slap 2 drops and that's it, this is the track. You know, you have to like actually have a coherent story. So this is why we use a lot of automation. And I'm a visual person, so Ableton works great for me for that purpose, because we could see the automations clearly and we could like tweak them and, you know, go with the curves and just follow the rhythm. So that's pretty much it for the drums. Then we have the vocals, which are the main element of the song. The vocals are separated into 3 sections. So we have the chops and the little effects and the little glitches all the way here. Then we have the darker yellow part, which is the main vocal. And the main vocal, we usually separate it into like multiple sections, depending on the song. We go really creative with stuff. So we're gonna, I'm gonna show you exactly what I mean in 1 second, but essentially, we're gonna have the main vocal, which is 1 channel. So this is pretty much it. So that's pretty much it. On the vocal, just a simple EQ8. Again, isotope trash, we wanna saturate the vocals a little bit, and a kickstart because we want it to duck slightly when the kick hits. So 29%, not a lot, but just to add a bit more like, you know, that choppy, groovy feeling of tech house. So that's the main vocal, really simple, but then we have the main glitched. So sometimes we want it to like, you know, we don't want to use the vocal all the time and just have like a track with a vocal 3 minute long. We want to add like different parts, different things. And we mainly used the chorus of the original track, and then we glitched it, we reverbed it, we added a bunch of effects until we found like some cool stuff that sounded great. So for example, we glitched it, and sometimes the vocal is gonna go as like this. Like you could see it's like glitched a bit. To do that, we used, so we froze it and we flattened it. That's why, yeah, that's why. But essentially there's a plugin on Ableton that really does great with glitching vocals. It's called Vocal Fun. And it's actually Yanni, my good friend, that showed me that plugin. And we've been using it all the time. The only thing is it's random. So that's why we froze and flattened the track, because every time you play the song, it's gonna give you a different glitched effect. But sometimes we want one specific glitched effect. We don't want like to be different all the times. We want it to be coherent. So what we do in that situation, we're gonna go on the track and we're gonna go on it and we're gonna freeze it. And that's what it's gonna essentially do is it's gonna freeze all the track with the plugin, so you can't touch it, you can't tweak anything, and then you're gonna flatten it, and it's gonna give you a audio file like this with all of the effects, everything that's been applied on it, it's gonna go on it. So that's why this track has nothing in there, because it has been frozen and flattened. So that's pretty much it. Then we have a section with reverb. Oh, here, you see the Vocal Fun. This is what it is, essentially. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And we have also a channel that goes lower in pitch. So sometimes we want to add like a more darker feeling to the song, to the main vocal. So we layer it with a lower pitch vocal. So this is what the lower pitch vocal sounds like. I got the gas. You see, it's very low. But if you layer it with the top vocal, it's gonna sound cool. It's gonna sound like dark and mysterious. I got the gas. So you could hear it slightly, but not really. So we played around with the vocals, we glitched them, we looped the part that he says, don't sell Molly, and we just, you know, we played with it. We tried to, whatever sounds cool in the end was cool. We slapped it on and we kept it as is. So this is what we looped. and I think it's because of the filter, sorry. Here. Like, as you could see, here too we have a filter on, sorry about that. But if I bring it up, so it's just that repeating, again, to add to the groove. Sometimes it depends on the song, but we're very creative with our productions. Like, we usually go with, we fuck around in the project, we fuck around with the vocals, with the elements, and then we try to like not drift too much from the reference track, but in the end we make something that sounds like us, but like that sounds cool. So that's pretty much it, what we did with the vocals. Like you could see there's a bunch of shots, a bunch of stuff happening. If you guys want to hear, this is just someone singing oh over and over again, and we just looped it and it sounded good. It sounds like an instrument, but you can't really hear it. But all together, this is what everything sounds like. So you could hear like all the elements. There's so much. Like, there's a lot of stuff that you can't hear, but it's important to add details, especially like in songs like this. If you really analyze a track by Odd Mob, let's say, or Hunter, or all these people, there's a lot of details that go into their track. There's a lot of shots that you don't use. You don't hear. Sorry. There's a lot of like loops that are like filtered out. So that's what essentially we try to do with the vocals. That's pretty much it for the vocals. The melodies, it's spelled like this because we were tired and we found it funny, but it's actually melodies, not melodies. Sorry about that. I didn't have time to change it. But the melodies are, I think, like half of the track, half of this type of track, because there's a lot going on. You're gonna see like there's a lot of channels, but everything does something differently. So the first part is what I call the snake melody. So the Egyptian-inspired melody that we made in the track. So this is what it sounds like. As you could see, it's like mysterious. It sounds like a snake charmer or something. I don't know. I just wrote that just to remember. But this is like one of my favorite parts. It's separated into two. It's audio samples. Sometimes we're gonna use MIDI, but especially me, I'm not the biggest, sound designer, and sometimes I'm very specific into what I want. And this, I really wanted that like Egyptian sound thing. I don't know why. I just had a fixation, I guess. And we found samples that sounded like that, and we tweaked them, and we used them as instruments. So if I go on each one, as you could see, this one is pitched at -1. So this is gonna be a different note as this one. This one is at 0. And then this one goes back at -1. So we're using it as an instrument. So think of it like, like you have a piano and you have notes. So basically this is gonna be a do, and this is gonna be a re, mi, you know what I mean? And we're just we follow the key of the track and the melody and the vocals, essentially. And this is what we came up with. So this is a shot, and the second part is just an Atmos. So this is just an Atmos that we pitched up and down. The initial key of this is B minor. So we just took the note B and put it down one semitone. So this is an A sharp. And then -3 semitones. So again, we're just using it as an instrument and creating a song, a melody out of it. So as you could see, it's just people singing. It's like a choir, I guess. But it's an Atmos that we found, and we just pitched it up and down and created a melody out of it. That's pretty much it. The dark purple part, that's like the complicated stuff. But this is all of the shots that you hear in an Odd Mob track. You know, all the like boom, all the like acid stabs, all the little shots that you hear that makes a track, an odd mob like style track is this. This is like the whole part. Essentially, we went on spliced or loop masters, which are like sample places you could get samples, you know, with a monthly subscription. Sorry about that. And we just went through like techno samples and we chose the best sounding ones, the best shots. So I'm gonna give you some examples. For example, this one. You know, typical odd mob. So this is basically like just a bass hit. It's not even a synth hit. We stretched it at 626 BPM, so we really stretched it out because it's way shorter than this. And this is what it sounds like. We play with the warp modes, either complex or complex pro. This worked best in complex. But if you really want to go creative, you could fuck around with anything here, honestly, and it's gonna sound cool, you know? So whatever sounds good, usually we put it in. We started, I think, with a 16-bar loop, and we just placed it in, like where we wanted the shots to hit, where we wanted longer one, like this one, or shorter one, like this one. See what I mean? So this one is really stretched. So we played around with it, and then we just duplicated it and applied it to the first and the second break. So that's pretty much it. I'm gonna show you guys what it sounds like all together. You could see like there's a lot going on. Sometimes we also layer stuff. So that's, we're getting crazy. But this is what it sounds like. You hear there's like shots. Left, right, center. Another thing that I forgot to mention is we play a lot with the panning of the sounds. So especially in the drums and the melodies, we don't want everything to sound all together in the middle, clustered. We want something to sound on the left, something on the right, especially hits like this, very important. So, you know, for example, this one, it's being automated, the panning. So sometimes it's gonna be far right, sometimes it's gonna be far left. You know, so we want to create movement with everything. We want everything to sound together and cohesive. So we usually play around. There's no like rule as to where you should pan everything. But essentially, like you don't want everything to sound all together clustered. You're gonna hear it with your ears. You know, like it's pretty straightforward. So that's pretty much it. And then the last part of the melodies is the random stuff, like the longer stuff, the Atmos, pretty much it. My favorite thing though is the rave stab, which is what makes the drop, in my opinion. So I'm just gonna play you the last drop just so you could hear. But essentially the rave stab is just I call it like this. I gave random names just because I'm visual and I remember however it makes me visually think. But this makes me think of a rave, I guess. And this is what it sounds like. It's an audio sample. Again, we could have used a MIDI, but we're not, I'm not the best sound designer. Seb is good, but you know, like this sounded amazing already as it is. So why not like simplify our life and just use a audio sample like this? So this is what the last drop sounds like with the stab. So yeah, this is pretty much it. As you could hear, this is what it sounded like. We again, as with every audio sample we have, we played around with it, changed the last note, added effects to it because, no, not really. We just EQ'd it and added a side chain to it. But you know, we played with it, and it sounded great as is. So we didn't really need to add much more stuff to it. That's what's great with working with audio samples, because Sometimes you could find like a really good one, sounding one, and it is what it is. You just slap it as is. And finally, the effects. This is like just to help the transitions better. We have a bunch of uplifters, I think 2, 1 downlifter, a snare roll, and that's pretty much it. And a break beat. We wanted to add like a break beat groove just in the breaks, just to give a bit more slower feeling, because we wanted the drop to hit harder, to give the impression it's faster, but not really. But that's pretty much it. And overall, we don't mix and master, we don't master our tracks, but usually what we're gonna do on the main channel is add the effects in the breaks, So basically here is just 3 effects that we added, that we automated on and off. And the first one is a utility. So what this does, oh my God, I heard it. Just gonna open. Okay, so the first thing on the main channel is the utility. So it's gonna go down from 0 dBs to, I think, -3 throughout the break. So it's gonna give the impression that the drop is louder, but not really. You're just bringing the break, all of the elements down in the break. So this is what it does. It's going down, and it's here. As you could see, from 0, it goes all the way down to -3. We also have, sometimes we're gonna use the width knob here. Not in this case, because we don't really need it. It's pretty straightforward. We don't have like wide synths or anything that's gonna make a difference, but this could be cool too to use. You automate it from 100 and you go all the way down to like 70, 80, whatever sounds good, without, getting rid of the groove or breaking the track, obviously. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And the Endless Smile, which is my favorite plugin forever. It's basically a plugin with a bunch of like effects you could add on pretty much anything. In this case, we used it on the main channel, and we used the first preset, which is Fist in the Air. And it's just a preset that's gonna add like tension. So this is used mainly to build tension usually. In this case, we used it in the break. And yeah, that's pretty much it, I think. Oh, we have an EQ8, and what it does is it's cutting the lows and the highs as we're progressing through the break up until the drop, just again to create a more, tension. Again, these plugins are all for the purpose of creating tension and making the drop hit harder. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Do you guys have any questions for me?
Are there any questions?
No questions. That was really clear. Okay, perfect. Oh, sorry, I can't.
Can you just play a sample of all of it together?
Oh yeah, sorry about that. I didn't even play it all together, oh my God. But this is what it sounds like all together. I'm gonna go in the break, sorry. That's pretty much it. You guys could listen to it on Friday on SoundCloud. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you. Can I leave the meeting now?
No, you have to stay right here.
Okay.
Yes, you may leave. So we're going to take a short little break. I don't know how it's going to be. I don't know, 15 minutes?
15 minutes.
If you guys want to, just walk around, get some air, more than welcome to, and we'll be right back.
Those of you online, just stick around for a while. We're going to pause things here, but yeah, we'll be back in about 15 minutes. Thanks for joining us.
Fun in the sun.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the MWM-Conference class in session. Thank you for coming back. We're going to keep it short and sweet and hand it right back over to Camille. Camille, welcome back.
Just a quick question.
Of course.
For the audio, it's fourth space. I am not connected right now. Like, internet's working, but I'm not connected to the
Wonderful.
speakers.
Tech issues. We'll be right there.
Live from Ibiza. Good morning. We all here? Still alive? First, apologies. I was blessed with many things. Height is not one of them, so you're going to have to see me through my computer. And if I get tired of you guys, I'm just going to do one of these. I'll do a quick intro of the two gentlemen next to me. Dave is an old friend of mine, unfortunately. But I'm going to pass him the microphone, and I'll let you guys just talk about who you are and what you do, and maybe I'll say the same for myself at the end.
Hi guys, my name is David. I make music under the name of Dave Summer. I'm from Quebec City, but I now live in Montreal, and I've been doing this for around 13 years, and more seriously with the project around like 7 years. I used to go by Dave Summit before, changed for obvious reason.
Because summer is better.
And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. And Dave and I, we go back. We've worked on some tracks together. We've even made some tracks we've never released together. So today is the first time we're back in the studio together.
So what's up, guys? My name is Francis. I go by two aliases right now. I go by Kiliox, and I just released a new alias recently called Blue Initials. I'm representing Berlin Records today, so we're gonna review some tracks and check it out. But I've been producing for what, 17 to 18 years, being a DJ. Helped this guy a tiny bit when he got started, and not taking his credit away from him though. This guy's killing it. But yeah, ran into Camille a tiny bit, ran into Justin a lot. We used to produce.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. We used to produce and do stuff with me and Justin when the guys were Purple Tea back in the day. So
It's because you're from Quebec City.
yeah, Quebec City. Still in Quebec though.
Yeah.
We still love it. No, it's okay. It's okay. But yeah.
So I'm the A&R for Purple Tea Records. I've been working there, well, with Justin for about 7 to 8 years. Before that, I was a producer. Still am, kind of. But now I just listen to music more than make it. It's way more fun. Way less stressful also. Yeah, I was signed to Toolroom and Armada. And yeah, I really enjoy listening to music and helping people find their sound. But more importantly, just telling you all that you're all very talented, because remember, music is always subjective, okay? So no matter where you are in your journey, just know that you're on your journey. Don't compare yourself to anyone else. Music is for fun, first and foremost. So right now we're gonna start looking at tracks. I'm just gonna do a little check-in to see who's here. We do have a little bit of tech issues, so I'm running off a Google form now as opposed to SoundCloud links, so bear with me. I promise you I'm not this slow. Well, no, I am. Do we have a Why Red here today? Why Red? Why Red?
Yeah, because we're trying to
Yeah, I have to see who's here, exactly.
Yeah.
Do we have and I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your artist name, you can correct me. Alec2? Here, he's here. Alike. Alike K2 or Ali K2? Ali K2. Sorry. Okay. So we're gonna play the track. I think it was this one. Just let me make sure.
It was the fourth one.
4 project?
Yeah.
Okay. This is the one?
Yeah.
So we're just gonna listen to it first. We might not listen to the whole track because it's a 6 30-minute beast, so I'm gonna bring it to the break.
Exit. Exit. Excite.
Now listen. I mean, I love techno. I do like it a little more when bright lights are not shining in my face. Yeah. But get out. Do you know how many times I hear that? Okay, I'm gonna address this right now to all the artists out here. I'm sure you can speak to this. I don't care. All right, I'd rather you send me a pre-master with a good hook than a finalized project that it's harder for me to tell you go fix things when you send me a master. Now there's also that, I feel bad. I'm a human at the end of the day.
Honestly, a good idea goes a long way.
100%.
Like, if the track doesn't sound as great as everybody else or the industry standard or whatever, who cares? We can fix that. If you have a great idea, you have something interesting you're bringing to the table, more the merrier. We need more of that, honestly.
Yeah. And also, if it's mastered, I know you're sending it to other people, and I'm a very jealous person.
Oh.
And the other thing is, like Guesses was saying, a hook goes way further than a polished track. I much rather get a track. And everyone here that's worked with me, you can put your hands up. I can see you all, especially the one over there. But I much rather a track with a strong hook that sounds like shit than a track that's, perfectly produced, but it just sounds like everything else out there. A very wise man once told me, don't try and emulate other people. Was it like 3 minutes ago too? You told me that? So we'll go to breaking down the track. I'm gonna send it to my brother from Berlin because it's a little more his style.
Yeah, it's more or niche, I guess. There's a lot of good to it. I actually really like the breakdown. I like how much you bring out the tension and everything. The only problem with the drop I'm hearing right now is like you're missing a lot of fills. Like everything, like I feel like I was stuck in like a loop. I thought like we were on an emergency loop for a second, which is like it needs more diversity. Like the way you use your Hoover, you could like bring it differently. You can play around with like some kind of like shaper box or something, like add movement to it, or I don't know. You have to make sure you're still like after the first 8 bars that I'm still hooked. Right now I just drift off because I was like, oh well, it's kind of like in the background now because it's the same. It feels like the same loop anyways. So you need these little like ear candies, we like to call them, and it's sometimes just a like a percussion in the back that has like delay or reverb or something that's like just like, but it's like at least there's an extra little bit going on, or there's like an acid sound coming up, or there's like another synth that's completely different, completely out of the soundscape you're trying to create in the track to like, oh, what happened? Oh, that was cool actually. You need to, especially with techno, there's a lot of repetition and that's fine, but you already have that rumble bass going, and it's like that's always the same. So it's like you have to play around with your percussions. You have to play around with the way. There's a lot of people that play with their hi-hats also. They like pan it, or they do like a little not phasing issues, but phase to it. They bring phase to it, and they do a lot of different fills, a lot of different stuff. So don't be afraid to try stuff. And we as A&R like it when it's like, oh, I got caught off guard. That was fun actually. Yeah. Let me play that bit again, So that would be my comment on it.
For me, other than the ear candies that Francis was talking about, I think overall it's pretty much there. It's just missing the little like 2% at the end. I like the breakdown with the build, just the tension and release. That's one of the most important point in techno too. So I think this part is really well done. But once again, I think it's just the little ear candies, the little playful ads, but it's pretty much there. And from what we can hear from the speakers, it sounds pretty good too. So mixed down overall, pretty good too. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't sound that great here for us, but I hope for you guys it does.
Yeah, I mean, techno is good for you because all techno producers, you're all a different breed. The challenge in techno is it's so simple, right? But that's where it becomes very complicated, is that how do I make this interesting? So these guys are absolutely right. You need that, just little textures within the groove itself, reverse things, go crazy. It doesn't have to be super complicated. It just switch things up, put a double kick every here and there. Work on the arrangement. The arrangement is everything in techno. You have the sound design down. All right, thank you very much. Round of applause. Okay, now this is where I struggle to find the next track. Give me a minute. Yeah, thank you. Live. Do we have Evo and Lax? I saw you swat a fly. Are you Evo and Lax, or are you just swatting a fly? Okay. So no Evo and Lax. Going once? Okay. Dantronics? So many demos, so little people. DJ King Julian. This was dubstep too, so you better be here if you're sending me a dubstep demo. Ooh, this one I know. Under the Bed. Okay. Hey, Jeremy.
Little Jeremy action. What's going on?
This one's called The Road You Made. Is that the right one? Good. Too bad. Wait, where do you think I should start?
Like right before. A little bit, yeah.
Sorry. So you sent me the one song you don't sing on as your demo. I've heard you send me maybe 100 songs with your vocal in it. You want to throw me a curveball today, Jeremy? Thank you. I really like it. I feel like it's very progressive. Like it builds up towards that second break. I don't know if I'm right or wrong with that. It kind of builds its energy. It's a very minimal track. It does feel like it's missing something though. It's missing an energy, maybe, I don't know, vocal that you're so good with, but I'm joking. But the sound design as per usual is fantastic. I do feel like it's not in the front of the mix enough though, and sometimes you do that when you're not confident or you're still leaving the room for something. You want to maybe any comments about that? Okay. That's why this is a track he just made. Okay, excuses. You have a whole like slew that you could have sent me, so.
I know, but I asked you which one
Yeah, it's
you
true.
want,
This is
so
very fair. Yeah.
I didn't have a response, so.
So are you going to put a vocal on this track?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So that's what you're leaving the headroom
Yeah.
for. Thank you. So case closed on my end. I'm going to pass it on to the others.
Yeah, other than probably missing some energy, you're probably gonna get that with the vocal, but I think it's just missing. I love the simplicity of it. It's a little minimal. You have the synth coming in and out, just make you crave it every time it disappear. So yeah, there you can be. Yeah, it feels like a Ajuna Deep songs too. So no, I don't have any comments other than that little energy, and then I think it's pretty much here.
Thanks.
Yeah. I've heard like 200 of the songs, so
Yeah, I'm
like
saying it's annoying.
Yeah, those guys just like keep piling tracks like crazy. Great as usual, especially if you said to us that you did it in like what 3 hours or something. To bring it back to the first demo, there's all these like bleeps and there's all these like little opening of synths. There's little like new sounds coming in, like that extra lead at the end.
Yeah.
That was a curveball. I was like, oh, okay, I like that.
Maybe introduce little elements of it before, not the
be
entirety,
fun.
tease.
Yeah.
But
yeah, if there's definitely something missing, but if there's room for vocals, it makes a lot of sense. So.
Yeah. And is it all analog as per usual?
Yep.
Okay. Very warm. No, that's what I'm saying. It's just very.
But I didn't have time to make an arrangement, so.
I mean, it's arranged.
Yeah,
but you can make it
for
more
the
arranged.
synth, I put it like at the end before I send you that. So.
Okay. Yeah. No, I think it's just missing that energy.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yep.
Thank
Round
you.
of applause. I know this name too. Amelia. Hello. I'm gonna just give me a minute. Thank you. Yeah, oh yeah. Oh wow, okay. I didn't say applause. That's for the end. No, that was really really good. First and foremost, vocals.
I use the AI vocals.
That's what you were telling me. Okay, everyone, let's
That's my new
remember that.
obsession.
Yeah.
You put in
Yeah.
your own lyrics, and then like, whenever I usually start a song,
Yeah.
I have a couple of channels, so it's my main like groove rhythm. So then I put that in, and then I write my own lyrics, and then it comes out with like different vocal ideas, and then I just choose the best one.
And there's 2 vocals in there, right?
Yeah, guy and a girl. Yeah.
It's very cool. I mean, right off the bat, during the break, I was like, oh, there should be a little more question response, and then immediately after, like, I don't know, it came in, so you fixed that on your own, so good for you. The track kept me interested the entire time. It's more stripped back, but it never loses its energy. Honestly, it's a very strong track, and the arrangement is there. I don't have much to say other than what he's saying.
For me, I really like the melodic part. I think with the bass line too, bass line is 10 out of 10. Drums too, yeah. I don't have much review on it. It's pretty like, sounds full, sounds complete.
Thank you.
Pretty good track, yeah.
Yeah, it's less up our alley at Berlin, but I do appreciate a lot of different kind of music than techno. I love house music too. I really love the flip you did on the second drop. That almost like buggy like Apple sounds you had in your speakers back in the day when the transmission came in.
Saturation.
It sounded a bit like that to me, anyways. That was cool because it's like it's these little somethings, like little sparks, the little details that make a track shine compared to another one, because there's so many tracks coming out these days that are just riding and there's no like real like climax to the song. And you bring the energy properly, you bring the tension properly, and then it exploded way more than I anticipated, and that, for me, that was really cool actually. So
I really like those textures. So if you want the A&R side of things, where we take it to the next level, where you want to, I would say the track is very much complete. But maybe you want to focus on one element. I think I don't know what to grab out of the track because I was able to hear a lot. It doesn't have that moment. Maybe it's the part on the drop and then it alternates. But whatever that moment is, maybe focus on that when you're going to go. I don't know where you're at with the track, but maybe just. I'm not saying it needs a lot. It doesn't need anything maybe. But if you want to just focus on the moment of the track, so that you know, because right now it's very strong. So if you want a little bit of constructive criticism. And then that's like, pretty good criticism, but
maybe a little idea I could have, like that call and response melody that she has going on. Maybe you could make the sound, you're using your synth a bit louder into the mix, so we hear that call and response clearer. Because like sometimes like I feel like people are a bit shy with their leads. Like it's fair for the bass line. Usually the bass line is super busy, or like.
What is the bass line?
Yeah, is it like an electronic bass or is it more of a synth?
It's what do you mean? Well,
is it kind of emulating like a bass player, or it's like more of a
It sounds like a walking.
or something?
Yeah, very funky.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Sample or?
Well, MIDI.
MIDI. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Serum.
Yeah, serum.
Of course.
Well, round of applause again. Mine as well.
Thank you.
Dave says I should sign it. We'll talk later.
Perfect.
Do we have a highlight? There we go. Any comments before I throw this on?
Hello.
Hello.
Not much comments. I think it's something a bit more of a different style from me, and I'm part of a duo here for a highlight. So it's a little more exploratory into something more tech house, more into, I guess, something like Dave, something that he would make.
Okay.
But I guess
Let's hear it. All right. Yeah, that's thick. Yeah, good for you. Do you still have a mic over there? Yeah, tell us a little about the track.
Oh, so yeah, I honestly started that one as something for trace amounts.
Never heard him.
I know.
No, I'm joking.
But yeah, so normally we do more trancey stuff, more progressive house. We have releases on Enhanced, but we're venturing out just to play a little bit around with the market and just do some fun stuff, explore, experiment.
Yeah.
And that was just one of those.
I see another person. I know you don't see my computer, but are you guys a duo?
Yeah, so we're a duo. I'm from here in Montreal, and my friend's from Tampa in Florida.
Okay. And have you sent it trace amounts?
I think their track stack's closed at the moment.
Okay, well, come see
So
me
we haven't
after.
done it yet.
I can help you out with that.
Awesome,
I mean, the drums are fantastic. The groove is relentless. Makes me just want to party all night. It's great. In terms of constructive criticism, I just feel like right before the first break, because the second break is monstrous, but right coming into that break, it kind of loses too much energy before it loses it. Like when you come into the melodic part of it, it's fine, but in the groove, I feel like it's too much deconstructed before the actual breakdown, and I want to rage until that break because that break is pretty long and it builds its tension in there. So I don't think you need to do it so much in the groove.
Gotcha.
For me, I think that just the first drop, I like the simplicity of it. I like how it's bumping. I like the groove of it as well. But the second drop, I think there's just, I don't know if it's just a mixing, but I feel there's too much going on. So when you're trying to focus on one sound, there's another one like trying to clash in at the same time. Maybe play with the ARP just after like 8 bars, after 16 bars at the end, and just keep like the kick, the all your drums, the bass line, and the synth you have that's just kind of the stabs. Especially if you're looking for a West End's label, it's always like a little bit more minimal. But yeah, other than that, like breakdown's cool, very original too. And I like the mix between like, feels like you're mixing like trance, techno, tech house at the same time. So yeah, that's his own thing. Yeah. So yeah, overall great track, man.
Yeah. Thank you.
Also, I think an idea maybe for two, because he brings up a great point. You could have this kind of moment after such a huge break to just, bring it back to just like a kick and bass. Like that might be fun, especially with the kind of groove you have that's infectious. It'd be nice to have a focus on that groove for a moment, because like that would just make people go nuts. Just
it's almost like a fake drop.
Yeah, or a fake drop, but
no, but like I think that's a.
Oh yeah, kind of. But like you don't,
back,
but you get the drums going right away. I think, and especially if you're targeting Weston's label, you could just bring it down and just have some kind of horn or some kind of like synth that goes bah. It's kind of tedious because it's always the same thing. A lot of people like bah.
One more time for the people in the back.
Bah. No, there you go. But like it works in crowds especially, or you could like not let it rip right away. First kick the bass, then you get the growl going or a horn or something. Or you just go wild with your acid sound you already have going on, but you like play with the sustain. Anyways, there's tons you could do. The track is great. Really love the breakdown. Really love what you did. I don't know if like a 7th or a 9th on that ARP compared to the chorus. That was mint. Very jazzy, but it worked. So I love it.
So maybe just one last thing. I think the only thing you can, like if you want to rework it after, just maybe add another vocal, because the acid has been like done and done and done. So if you want to stand out more with your song, trying to like have something more a little like maybe original, more catchy that you can reuse also in the breakdown and get the feels out of it, and then bring it back in the drop to like push it more.
Yeah, I feel a lot of these like indie dance track, like it's based around a vocal that's looping and it's very like original or different. It's not like usually a splice thing, or they generate the vocals.
Especially that you have that acid texture in the track ready, so it's a little on the nose, but yeah.
Yeah, well, it's been like that sample for like, or just the acid as a word alone has been used since the 90s.
Try
like,
house music
non-stop,
all night long.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
That thing.
Don't do that.
But anything else might work better. It works for the track right now, but yeah.
Yeah. Great job, honestly. 10 on 10.
Thank you.
I'm going to just shoot out some names because we're getting closer to our time limit and see who's here. Colofan. Yeah. I'm just going to say names right now. Put up your arm if you're here. If not, we'll move on. Pablo Vergara. Chlo. Chlo? CHLO? No? What's your name? Vlu. Oh, yeah. Okay, so yeah, your SoundCloud link isn't working. Yeah. Do you want to try and send me one? Again? Yeah, I'll put you right at the end if I can. Perfect. Armix? No? Yeah. Yeah, oh, sorry. Hey, Armix. Mike Holden? Seb Todd. Oof. He's not even here now, so I'll talk to him later. The Paddle Boy? And Andrew. Okay, perfect. And then your name? Okay, we'll do yours right now since my... And which track was it? ID number 1? Is it this one?
Yeah, it's
okay.
ID number.
Perfect. Really, really awesome track. I'll let Francis start because he's on a roll right now.
Yeah, for bass house like that, there's a common problem I think with most of these tracks is like you're doing that classic like A and B. You're doing a 4-bar of like that gritty sound, that gritty bass, and then you're going like a more of a percussion breakdown / drop part with the B part. And it's bringing it back, and it's bringing it back, and it's bringing it back, and it's always that same A-B. So it's the same problem with the techno track from earlier. I'm missing that extra thing that makes me or keeps my attention, I should say. Like like after that second repetition, I was like, is it different? No, it's the same thing. So because it's the same thing, because it's repetitive, like it's cool, like it gets that energy, but you're losing a lot of energy fast. So people will be jumping on the first kick.
He did it at the end of the track.
Yeah.
Just needs to bring it that kind of arrangement.
Yeah. Well, with the outro part of the drop, you could definitely bring that energy you have in the outro part before for sure. Yeah, that's a good comment.
But really,
Yeah.
sound design is.
Yeah, sound design is top notch. Like bass house, you have to nail your sound design. Like those gritty bass lines are so like easy to lose control of. Like it's easy to just mess up on the EQing and you just get a phasey mess. But general good stuff. It needs more work when it comes to fills and when it comes to the overall trying to keep that energy up. So maybe more percussions, more different stuff happening.
I'd
Like
even say it's taking the energy down.
well, yeah, taking the energy down might be cool because like it'd be like up and then it's not just like a climax and it's staying there right now. So bringing it back down to bring it up again. Yeah, that might be cool, interesting.
Yeah, exactly like Francis was saying. Maybe just rework that A and B part, the vocal in the B section, maybe a little bit more up because we can't really hear it. I also play with that vocal during the the breakdown or the build-ups, just to add more energy to it because those feels a little empty.
Longer breakdowns.
Yeah, maybe longer breakdowns just to build because your drops are really high energy and feels not the same for the rest of the track. So maybe just build a little bit more for the build-ups. Also for the lead, after 16 bars, maybe trying to layer it with another sound, try to do like a gate on it, or just add a phaser, vibrato at the end. Just like mess around with it. Pitch bend also works. And if you want to do a little different too, for the second pre-drop, you can add like once again like another layer, just maybe like a reese that goes under, just to add more grit to it. And yeah, it's pretty much like all tiny details to add at the end, and overall solid track. Yeah,
Oh,
love the bass line too.
That's really good to hear. For the second drop, you're just saying to add like a little bit more variety to it, or maybe have like a second different drop. It can be like slightly faster. Is that what you're trying to go to?
You can like instead of having exactly the same synth, you can have that synth and add another layer on top of it or under it,
Oh, okay.
like a bass or just like a Reese bass that plays exact same thing, just to add like another like a new push to it. And during the drop, you can add like some elements around it, just to make some variation compared to the first one, just to not have like the exact same drop both times, and also for people in the crowds, also like keep them going.
That's really awesome. That works for me. If you could send me over by text or something what I should change, that would actually be really helpful or appreciated. I really appreciate the feedback. Thank you very much for
You're
taking
welcome.
the time to listen to my track.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. All right, let's try and get as many as we can. I did someone say, was there a colophon? No. Yeah, okay, perfect. Sorry. And how do you pronounce it? Okay, got it. Cool profile pic. You had me at gated Vox and piano. That's old school right there. We were talking a bit. We think that really, really beautiful track. The vocal seems a bit dissonant, like it's just not in tune with the rest of the track. It just kind of taking my ear off the rest. And yeah, I'll pass it to the other gentleman.
So we were talking also about the odd structure for that build-up you have going on. I think it's really interesting though, because like it's really different, and we like that. The only problem with it is like it was building and like letting go and rebuilding a tiny bit and letting go, and like for that much up and down that you did, I feel that the payoff is not there. Like I think like even if the track is more like melodic and vibey and more chill, in that moment, if you want to keep that chillness, I think the build up, even without like a snare, or just risers, or just like something really simple, or something that gets reverbed out, a delay out, and then a space of silence, and then you leave the drum going after that for the start of the drop, it would work way better, and you could just start that second drop with like, as we said earlier, like kicks, just bass, pads, and gated stuff going on in the back, really ambient stuff. Because right now it's like I'm waiting for like a bigger drop, but it's not there, especially. But it's like, yeah, the track makes you want it. Yeah, the track makes you want to. It's like, oh, it's missing a little something. So yeah, there's definitely something there. So maybe you can go even harder, or you rework some of that parts, or you maybe remove one of those extra tension bits that you added. But like in general, great track. Sound design was pretty good, and that piano. I was like, that piano sounds actually really good. It sounds different. Like.
Yeah. For me, overall, I like the progression of the track. I think the only problem is the build-up and the pre-drop. With all the ambience, all the vocal. Goddamn. Yeah, I think the only part that's missing is the release, the tension. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, she loves you too much.
Yeah. Yeah, just the release for the drop. I think the breakdown builds it well, but once you're at the build-up, I think it's getting like there's too many things happening. You're into it, you're not into it, you're into it, and then at some point it drops. So I think it's just building the release and tension at that point. But I really like the drop. I think all the elements are there for that part, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
We have time for one more.
Sorry, did I hear someone? Yep.
More.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Yeah, the next would be Chlo. Do we have Chlo? CHLO? No. Armex? Is that you? Yeah, perfect.
Hey, how's it going?
Not bad, you.
Great.
Yeah. Tell me about the track.
Okay, so which one are you looking at? Because
Not telling you.
I sent two.
New Earth.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure. So this.
Yeah, sure.
This track, it's called New Earth. It's well, I'm part of an academy in Mexico called New Earth Academy. I basically teach. I have like students that want to be like DJ producers too. So I basically build this track together with them.
I can see the arrangement even before hearing it, which is always nice.
Thanks. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, let's do that. So that's Boards of Canada meets Fisher.
Sorry?
That's Boards of Canada meets Fisher.
Yeah.
It's very modular. I don't know if that's...
Yeah, I basically grab a bunch of synths from Diva.
There you
I
go.
build
Oh, Diva's my favorite synth. So if
Yeah.
I asked Desert Island to guess this before, Diva is my number one.
Yeah, Diva is awesome.
Yeah.
So I basically, it's 3 synths from Diva.
Okay.
It just layered.
All layered together?
Yeah.
Okay.
And well, I believe there was like a problem on the low end, so
Yeah.
I'm trying. It's not.
We know.
Yeah.
But it's not. It sounded way more muddy back here. I did go in front, and it sounded less muddy, but it's still taking up too much room in the mix. And there's a lot going on, so you have to be careful with the choice of your kick here. It's going to make or break the track. Yeah.
Sure. So you're saying that I should change the kick?
No, definitely. I mean, you can either change. I hate saying change the kick because it's difficult to change the kick at this point. But I would say you definitely need to work on the EQing of this kick if it's going to take up that much room. It's just I don't know what you're using in terms of EQ.
Well, I use Fab filter.
Fab filter. Okay, I mean it's the best one. So it's surgical. So you should be able to. I don't know what you're mixing on, but.
I'm all of this. It's an Ableton.
No, I mean sound-wise.
I use well, that's kind
Like
of a problem.
monitoring
I use AirPods.
That's why.
Yeah, that might be why.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, it is.
So maybe like instead of changing the kick, you could also like try to shorten it because like right now it's so long that we don't really feel a sub bass or like a mid bass going on, especially if you're trying to keep the track super analog-ish. A shorter kick will just leave so much more space to your sound, and everything will feel more saturated, even though you did nothing but change a kick or change the length of the kick. The tail is super important, and it's gonna like impact the way you sidechain stuff and impact everything else. If you go with a shorter kick, it's gonna get more bouncy, more like, gatey almost. But like if you just short it just a tiny bit, you might get that groove going, and you might get that groove that you're looking for. So
Yeah, like
sometimes
some sort of
that's the only thing. Like muddy kicks, like kicks make or break a song. Like if your kick's not working properly, everything else is gonna like get drowned under. So
Yeah, sure.
Other than that, in the low end, I think it's pretty original. That one thing I do is just do some variation with the lead, and you can do like one in your 8 bars, but just after that, add some elements to it, maybe new drums or little like stabs here and there, or maybe just ear candies. But yeah, overall, great track. I like the layering too on your synth.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Another idea, maybe, especially if you're trying to keep it modular, like don't be afraid to play around with your knobs on your synth. Like automations all the time. Please, like that's what we were talking about Weston earlier on. Like he does these tricks where he like does little bursts of cutoff on his bass to just. It's not even like adding like a note, or he's like basically doing a groove on top of the groove. Like it's just little bursts of little like ear candies again. But like if you're going modular, think about it like you're using something on your screen, but think about it like you have all the knobs in your face. You wanna like play around with it, right? Do that same thing, but with automation, or link certain parameters. If you have like a little keyboard with like 8 knobs or something, link a bunch of these parameters that you would love to play around with to these knobs and just go wild.
Yeah,
have fun with it.
Sure thing. Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming. It's always nice to see everyone come and support each other. I think something what we did when we started Montreal Music Week or Music Week at Montréal. I'm sorry, I always get confused. Is Montreal has a lot of artists, and it's important that you all come up together, build that community. It's the most important thing if you want to make a career out of this. I've seen it in other cities. Montreal is getting there. Support one another. It's extremely important because the person to your right or left or behind, wherever, they're gonna be there in 10 years when you've grown up. Like I've known I've known Dave very well. I also know Francis. This is the first time we actually meet in person, but we've been in the industry for about the same time, and we help each other out. Dave took some time out of his day here and to be with us. I'm very thankful. So thanks, Dave. And yeah.
Thanks for having me.
And I hope you enjoy the rest of Montreal Music Week, or Music Week à Montréal.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Camille. Thanks, everyone, for coming into Ford Space this afternoon. Also, for those of you joining us online, thank you, everyone, for your questions, comments, sending in tracks, everything. Fantastic. We're going to be closing up the live stream in the Zoom now, but just a reminder, this remains available on our YouTube channel. You should revisit it, you should share it, and you should listen to it all week or more. Okay. That's it for us. Class is not dismissed, however. Class is still in session. There's going to be we're going to move some things around in the space, and something surprising might pop up. So if you're joining us online, you still got time to come down. Okay, bye.